I like torturing myself, so I decided to start this series, so I'm gonna explain the rules really quick. I can only use my fists to kill enemies, that includes human enemies and monsters. I am allowed to use signs and the crossbow, but in a reasonable manner. I can't just make a sign build and just spam that and occasionally use my fists. And I can use the crossbow to down enemies like the Enkidas and the Griffins, because Geralt ain't Superman, he's not gonna fly and punch them. The goal is to complete the entirety of The Witcher 3's main story and DLC, but I will do side quests as well, and the same rules apply. The game starts with the same old balls grabbing spider and the same old amazing view. Oh no, not that one, this one. I of course skip the sword tutorial because remember I can't use them, and after Geralt wakes up from his scary dream, the first fight of this challenge comes along. Us and Vesemir get attacked by some ghouls, and I can't unequip my swords while I'm in combat, but still I can use my fists. However, things aren't looking that good because look at that juicy damage. Yup, 1 damage isn't too encouraging going further into this challenge, but still things aren't too complicated. I just dodged a lot and mostly let Vesemir deal the damage. Normally this fight takes about 30 seconds, but it took me like 5 minutes because Vesemir does kinda miss a lot because he's old, but eventually we do kill all the ghouls. After this it's time to unequip my swords for good, or until I find a boss that makes me rage quit and I use them. Then the game continues as normal. We make our way to the inn to find out more about Yen, and after a quick conversation with this random merchant that is 100% not a demon and totally doesn't get his own expansion, these idiots come to talk to us. After I try to convince their maid that there is more to life than nude sorceresses, they jump me, but Geralt quickly sends them to bed. We then make our way to the Nilfgaardian garrison, but we firstly stop to help this woman find her pen.
Me key, me pan.
The Nilfgaardian commander tells us to kill the griffin that's been terrorizing the area, so we need to do some preparations. To do that we go talk to a hunter and we start punching some dogs. So if you ever wondered what a stunlock dog looks like, here you go. After this we discover the nest of the griffin, and of course he is mad after somebody killed his girlfriend. To bait him out we need a specific weed, so we go talk to some herbalist that is probably an old hag. Whoa, alright. Anyway, she is trying to cure some girl that is dying, but we're not gonna try and help. I mean, Geralt is a witcher, he don't do stuff for free. After we get the buckthorn we go meet with Vesemir and we set a trap. We also get the crossbow from him, and remember, I am allowed to use it but only to down enemies from the skies. The fight with the griffin is not that hard, it's just very tedious. I mean, it took me like 15 minutes, which doesn't sound that much, but considering this normally takes like 3 minutes, it is something to consider. The strategy was to just dodge around and occasionally land a few punches, but I mostly let Vesemir deal the damage. But I did get the final blow, and my punch damage increased from 1 to 15 with the heavy attack, so that's something. After this we get the reward from the Nilfgaardian commander, which is information about Yennefer, but that equals to absolutely nothing because she finds us. After this we ride together and end up in another bath. Then we get dressed and talk to Mr. Fuckface over here that asks us to find Ciri, and that's pretty much the prologue of The Witcher 3. The game for some reason spawns us at the 2024 emo convention. I don't know why, probably because we hang around with Yen so much, but we can't let a few dead kids ruin all the fun, so we go search for a Nilfgaardian spy called Hendrik. As I make my way to the meeting point, I hear this dude that is being attacked. Being the good citizen that I am, I mean Geralt is called the Butcher of Blaviken for a reason. I wanted to help this poor guy, however, I changed my mind really fucking quick because these drowners kinda started to gangbang me. So that's gonna be probably the hardest part about this challenge, dealing with groups of monsters, because when Geralt hits the monster, the punch doesn't do enough poise damage and it basically resets the punch, so you can't land more than 2 punches consistently. And to be honest, this idiot doesn't seem bothered that I punched him in the head, so he just hits me back with 10 times the damage. We're getting cooked here, I'm not gonna lie. So I just left. After this I go to this inn and avoid fighting these idiots, because if I do fight them, when I go talk to the Baron, I have to go through a cave and I don't wanna do that. From the innkeep we learn where Hendrik lives, so we go there and of course he's fucking dead. Look, the Wild Hunt are really good villains and I've always liked them, but how the fuck didn't some interdimensional magic wielding elves didn't think to check a spy's shoes? I mean, how does that even work? You travel from another world to find a guy that has information about the most important person for your civilization and you just kill him and leave? I mean, what the fuck is this? But you know how it goes from here. We go talk to the Baron and he starts yapping about his wife and daughter. Just shut up, man, I don't care. But we also learn more about Ciri and we also get to play with her. While playing with Ciri, I can't unequip my swords and there's no other way to deal damage with her, so I have to use them, so pretend you didn't see this. After this, the Baron tells us to find his missing wife and kid if we want more information. And look, I know that he beat his wife, so she ran away. You know that he beat his wife, so she ran away, but Geralt doesn't know that, so we're gonna help him. But before moving further, if you like this series, I would like to ask you to leave a comment and a like, because that's how the YouTube gods decide whether or not you're worthy, so it does really help me a lot if you do it. Thank you. Geralt goes to talk to the Peller, and we fight these men that want him dead for some reason, and we also fight a number of wolves and a bear, which surprisingly wasn't that hard. We did all this because we needed to find the Peller's goat. Yeah, it's a weird quest. But after all this, Geralt finally learns that the Baron beat his wife and that's why she left. But we're not gonna do anything about that yet, because we also go talk to Kira and whoa, I don't think I can show that on YouTube. But after we talk to her, we are supposed to go to this ancient cave, but I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be able to beat the Wild Hunt hounds that regenerate HP that are in that cave, so I decided to level up a bit. And what better way than completing the Fist of Fury side quest, so...
let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, every guy we were supposed to fight is pretty weak, but Velen has a new boxing champion and it's not the Bloody Baron, even though Anna probably was a really good sparring partner. But when I come to show the Baron my championship belt, he takes it pretty bad and tries to fight me, but I knock him out and try to drown him a bit. His house is also on fire, so that's probably not good. After this he starts yapping about his wife again, and look, I know that this is probably the best story in the entire game, but you know how many times I played The Witcher 3? Shut up, please. Now, what comes up next is as much disturbing as annoying, because we have to fight his dead daughter that looks like this, and this fight took me a really long time. Apparently, fighting wraiths with just your fists basically doesn't do anything to them, so I spent like 45 minutes on this. Plus, I did kinda forget the most important part, which is that you have to use Axio on the botchling so that the ghosts stop spawning. That really didn't help. But eventually, I did complete the fight. After this, the botchling turns into a Lubberkin, which is a floating baby ghost that we have to follow. Again, what the fuck did CDPR smoke when they designed this quest? By following it, we learn more information about the Baron's family, but the first time we see him, we have more important stuff to do.
Ever play Gwent?
So I pick up this Witcher contract put out by this woman who wants me to clear her house of monsters. Alright, how hard can it be? I'm literally a monster killer. So I make my way to the manor, and oh my god, there's my boy. Look, I know that Letho almost got us killed in the last game, but look at him, he's jacked. How can I be mad at Noel Dizel? He is on the run from the government because he committed tax fraud, and would you look at that, perfect timing, the IRS just showed up. So we beat them up, and then beat up some more people, and then some more people, but eventually he seems to have beaten the tax fraud allegations, but just to make sure, we tell him to hide at our home. So Geralt technically is now an accessory to tax fraud. Add that to the list. After this we go visit the Bloody Baron's daughter, Tamara in Oxenford. She tells us she doesn't want to go home, and that's perfectly understandable considering her dad kinda did beat her. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I spent a lot of time thinking of a stupid joke I could put here, but I have nothing, so we're just gonna leave. But now I think it's time to finally reveal the plan that I have to deal with the Wild Hunt Hounds. Try saying that really fast. Wild Hunt Hounds, Wild Hunt Hounds, Wild Hunt Hounds. You know, in the battle for Kaer Morhen, you can close the portals the Wild Hunt used to spawn using dimeritium bombs. Well, it just so happens that those hounds use similar portals to spawn, so you're probably thinking what I'm thinking. Hopefully I can close those portals before the hounds spawn. So I go buy the dimeritium bomb formula from this little guy that 100% doesn't host criminal operations in his basement. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I did kinda pussy out a bit here, because when I did this I was pretty low level, so instead I decided to go to Novigrad to find Triss. As soon as I enter the city, I witnessed two guys getting burned at the stake, which should be the standard punishment for liking Genshin Impact. I mean, honestly, what the fuck is wrong with you if you like that game? I then make my way to where Triss lives, but instead of a half-naked sorceress, I find two blokes looting her house, and of course I couldn't let that stand, so I quickly beat them. I say quickly, but it did take me a while though. Oh my god, these guys are so tough. What? You're literally level 10, what the fuck? But before moving on, if you like this series, I would like to ask you to leave a like and a comment, because that's the best way you can show your support, and also that's how YouTube decides whether or not your video is worthy of the algorithm. Thank you. After this we wait for a common Romanian event to happen. I'm talking about stealing. It's fine, I'm Romanian, I can joke about this. And then we follow the thief to the King of Beggars, which coincidentally is also the official title of the Mayor of Paris. Here we meet with Triss, and she takes us along for a job she has, and at one point we end up in this cellar with one singular drowner. The fight with the drowner isn't too hard, except that at one point he just lays down on the ground doing nothing, and I can't hit him, and I just had to wait like 2 minutes until he got up again, only for him to go back down again. What the fuck is this guy doing, man? Get up, man, please, get up! After this we get to kill some rats with Triss, and also threaten a fat guy, but not before we beat up his friends. Then Triss tells us to talk to a Renomancer, whatever the fuck that means, and she is apparently in a haunted house. So we go there, but we quickly discover the house wasn't haunted, and it was all in Lehed instead. But after this I think I'm finally ready to meet with Kira, and I make my way to the cave, and we enter it. And I have to be honest, I was kinda nervous whether or not my plan was gonna work, but we make our way through the cave. Sorry if it's dark, but it's literally a cave. Eventually we finally get to the portals, and it doesn't work. Fuck. Or, yeah, it does work, you just have to throw the bombs just as Kira starts performing her magic. But there is another problem. You see, there are 3 portals, and I only have 2 bombs. Luckily you can also use Yrden to close the portals, but it did take me a few tries because, I don't know, it just didn't close sometimes. But after this things are pretty straightforward, and the fight with Nithral, who by the way looks like the biggest edgelord ever, is pretty easy, but surprisingly the hounds didn't cause me that much of a problem, they were actually pretty easy to beat. But I think it's high time we go visit the beaches of Crookback Bog, so we make our way towards the swamp, and along the way I stop to pick up Johnny's voice. And you might think, hey, how did you know to do that? Well, it's my secret, so I'm not gonna tell you. After this we make our way to the orphanage, and we play hide and seek with the children. And look, I'm not trying to insinuate anything, but how old is Geralt? Yeah, so playing hide and seek with some kids you just met when you're 100 years old will probably get you arrested in most countries. But it's fine cause we're not here to kidnap them, we're just gonna intimidate one for information. Then we fight some drowners and go find Johnny.
Slither! Ringworm! Rubbish! Bumblebee! Flabbergasted!
Man, I really love him. He then convinces Grant to talk to the ladies of the woods on our behalf. They tell us to kill an ancient evil that just woke up, which I have to say it's a pretty over-the-top request, we could have done the laundry or something, but... So we make our way to Downwarren and talk to the Elder Man.
Nice village.
Aye,
A real pearl of the swamps.
if you say.
Come on, Geralt, leave the man's village alone. Alright, so now I'm going to kill the tree. Roach, excuse me. What? Come on, Roach, I know you can do this. No, that's not good. I still find it funny that after almost 10 years, things like this still happen, but hey, that's why I love Roach.
Be gone!
Oh fuck, that always scares me. But before moving further, I would like to ask you to subscribe and leave a like and a comment because that's the best way you can help me. Thank you. So I got to the tree and my biggest worry was that I had to fight a werewolf that normally sits outside the cave, but you can just walk in without fighting him. Look, I never understood the debate regarding this tree spirit. I mean, look at it, why the fuck would you ever set it free? Well, because the children. Well, fuck the children, I ain't releasing this motherfucker. The fight isn't too hard, you just have to roll around. Yup, that's it for the tree spirit. Now we have to collect payment from the Elder Man. Oh, I ain't putting that in my pocket. Oh yeah, there they are. Now we play again as Sivri and normally you have to fight these enemies, but you can just do this instead until the objective. In case you don't know, this is Anna, the Bloody Baron's wife, but she's like crazy or something. I always find this cutscene so funny. So basically the Baron told us what happened to Sivri after the little race that they had, and yeah, I used Ciri's swords to kill the basilisk, but I couldn't unequip it so it's allowed.
So there's a chance Ciri's still in Novigrad.
No, Geralt, you senile old man, she isn't there, we've just been to Novigrad. Because the Baron asked so nicely to come with him to help him rescue his wife, we agree and we meet in Downwarren. Then we go through the swamp and fight more drowners, and I have to say that this is very annoying, cause it takes a long time to kill monsters with your fists, especially when there's like 10 of them, but whatever. When we reach the orphanage, the kids are gone cause the crows probably ate them, but again, fuck the kids, I'm not releasing the tree spirit. We also find Anna, but she's blasted. But before we can do something, we get attacked by a fiend, and this motherfucker was actually kinda tough. I mean, look at the damage he does, but eventually we did kill him. The Baron takes Anna in the Blue Mountains and blah 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 blah, and that's it for the Baron questline. We finally finished it. Last time we completed the Bloody Baron questline, and I also said that this kinda means we completed Velen. But I was wrong because I forgot about Kira's side quest. And no, I'm not doing it just to watch this cutscene, but it does play a big role. But mainly I'm doing it because when we get to the Battle of Kaer Morhen, I want everybody there, so yeah. But you know how this quest goes, we go to Kira and she asks us to go to Fyke Isle, and she also gives us a literal phone, which I don't understand why isn't mentioned more. I mean, it's a literal phone in medieval times, but okay.
My feminine intuition.
When we got there I ran past all the drowners and water hags, cause I'm not gonna bother, I'm sorry. Inside the tower we talk to the ghost, then we go talk to the lover, and that's basically it. But then, the best part, not fighting these drowners, but getting to bang Kira. And then the quest ends. Of course I told her to go to Kaer Morhen, but yeah. But now let's get to more interesting business. We go to Novigrad to find Dandelion. But he's missing, so we go talk to Zoltan, but not before we kick some ass. Man, I really love Zoltan. He's probably my favorite character outside Geralt. But what comes next is probably the shittiest quest in the game. We have to talk to some women that Dandelion has been seeing, and it just fucking sucks. I know that you don't have to go talk to all of them, and I did this to prove a point, but still, it's so bad and boring.
You shan't disappoint them, will you?
Oh, fuck off. When I got to the Varatra residence, instead of going on the estate, I went into this sewer and fought some drowners, and I discovered this illusionary wall. And does anybody know what's the backstory of this? Cause it's pretty random if it doesn't have a backstory. Tell me in the comments. And also, while you're there, why not leave a like and subscribe, cause that's the best way you can show your support. And also, we're so close to 500 subscribers. Thank you. Our investigation finally leads us to Priscilla, and this scene is probably the best in the game. I love this song.
These scars long have yearned for your tender caress, to bind our fortunes. Damn what the stars on, rend my heart open, then your love profess, a winding weaving fate to which we both atone.
After this we meet with Dijkstra and his half-naked friends, and we fight some dudes that stupidly try to attack the main character in a game. What the hell are you doing, guys? Then we investigate his blown up vault. I mean, how the fuck does anybody lose 20 tons of gold? But in these sewers, fucking hell, there were a lot of drowners, and I said it before, it fucking sucks fighting monsters with your fists. But that's the challenge, so I did it. Later we meet with Tris, who offers to help, and well, it turns out that Manga, the leader of the city witch hunters, has Dijkstra's gold. So us and Tris try to infiltrate their base, but emphasis on the try, cause it didn't work, so I had to kill everybody inside, and honestly it was a pain in the ass cause there were so many of them, but whatever. After this, Geralt and Tris commit some war crimes, but I wasn't there so I couldn't stop them. Then I went to visit Horson Jr. Can I say this on YouTube? Ah, fuck it, I'll say it again. Horson Jr. But he wasn't home, so I had to make do with beating up his friends. I say beat them up, but most of the fight in the casino I spent behind this wall because I was afraid to die. To find him we had to visit Roach, you remember Roach? Then he had to take us to see Radovid, and then finally we can go to Horson. He has a lot of guards, but they're human, so they're easy to beat. Then Geralt talks to him a bit, but I let him leave because what happens to him if you don't kill him is far worse. What the fuck is the camera doing? Oh, I can't believe I'm laughing at this, man. What the... Then we go to Tris to do her side quest, and yes, I will romance her. If you don't agree with me, you'll have to live with it. It is what it is. The quest at the Vegelbar estate isn't that special, so there's not much to say about it. But the next quest, Now or Never, was kinda tough. We have to help Tris and all the mages escape, so we firstly kill some temple guards, then some monsters that aren't drowners but look like them, and then a vampire. I said this like it was nothing, but trust me, it wasn't. Oh, and then we kill some more witch hunters. But in the end, we get to bang Tris, so that's a win. But now I think it's finally time to find Dandelion. But first we need to find Dudu the Doppler, to have him pose as Menge and order Dandelion's release. To do that we stage a play with Priscilla's help, and I have to admit it wasn't Geralt's best performance.
Show love for Dopplers, as well as for fish.
But it did work in convincing Dudu to show himself. After this we stage an ambush to release him, and there he is, the Purple Man himself. I love him so much. Last time we completed the Novigrad questline, so that means we gotta go to Skellige. So we find the captain, pay him 1,000 crowns, and wait until he dies so we can get the money back. Then we make our way to Kertrolde. After we hear some of that famous Geralt Rees,
You smell wonderful at this funeral.
we change into more appropriate clothes for the feast at Ian's behest. Oh yeah, that is top fashion. And we make our way to the party for some drinking.
Geralt, what is that you're wearing?
What am I wearing? You gave me the clothes, what? After beating guests at various activities, we get high on mushrooms and fight some stuffed animals, but that's nothing to worry about. Then we fight a golem, thanks Ian for the help, and steal some weird looking mask. Krach then asks us to help his children in their quest, so why not? I mean, it's not like Geralt has more important stuff to do. We also need to meet Yen at where Ciri has last been seen, but fuck her, she can wait. So we go help Hjalmar kill an ice giant. But no, before we talk about today's sponsor, me. I would really appreciate it if you will leave a like and a comment on the video, cause it helps me a lot. And if you like what I'm doing, maybe also subscribe, cause we wanna hit 1,000 subscribers by the start of summer. Thank you. Roach, I need you to cross the bridge for me, come on, you can do it. Fine, I'll just walk across. Oh, now he fucking crosses it. I'm not gonna lie, fighting sirens and other flying creatures is really annoying, but hey, I voluntarily put myself through this. Luckily you don't have to fight all these fuckers in the cave and you can just walk past them. There he is, the man, the myth, the legend, Hjalmar.
Right? His wounds need tending.
Nah, I think he's dead.
I thought he was your comrade.
Shut the fuck up, you're gonna wake him up. Alright, I'll get the key. Yeah, thanks for the help, brother. Why does every NPC get stuck? The fight wasn't that hard, but I did panic a little bit cause I nearly died and I took every potion I had. But that's about it with Hjalmar's quest. Now we move on to Ceres. Not literally on to her, you know what I mean. Now Ceres' quest is more straightforward. You just gotta help her lift the curse from Jarl Uderlik. All you gotta do is put the baby in the oven and that's it. Of course I oversimplified things, but in essence, putting the baby in the oven will solve every problem you have. Now we can go meet with Yen. We'll get back to the quest where we pick the King of Skellige later. She's arguing with Hermione because we stole the mess, but that's a technicality, we actually borrowed it. We use it to see what Ciri did or what Avalak ate to fart so hard that he destroyed an entire forest. Then we end in the village of Lofoten. What comes next is probably one of my least favorite part of the main story, because it's really tedious and I fucking hate Morgvarg. I remember his voice and overall presence terrified the shit out of me when I was a kid and played the game for the first time, but now he just sounds like an old drunk man who used to smoke 3 packs a day.
Broad pain.
Luckily you don't have to fight him. So yeah, I just kinda walked around Freya's garden until I found Skjal's body.
Thought necromancy was strictly forbidden.
So is premarital sex.
That's so funny. After we talk to his dead body, we get to play as Ciri again, and I'm sorry, but I won't undress her, cry about it in the comments. We have to fight the Wild Hunt with the sword cause we can't unequip it, then we make a daring escape. It's not that daring, you just ride your horse forward. Then Geralt's neurons finally make a connection and realize he needs to take Uma. But now let's pick the King of Skellige. Krach for some reason gives us a sword, he probably doesn't know we're doing a feast only playthrough, silly old Viking. Then we get attacked by man bears, but what the fuck, they're literally bears, of course we took care of them really easy. Then we help Ceres investigate the attack and we have to fight these bandits at one point, and this was harder than it looked cause I also had to keep this guy alive, but after some struggle, fuck the guys with the shields, I made it. And now Ceres is queen, hooray! Now let's take Uma to Kaer Morhen. Now this has always been my favorite part of the game, cause you just take a step back and relax, and enjoy how beautiful Kaer Morhen is. Still, there is a lot of stuff Geralt can punch, and first is an oversized chicken that us and Eskel take on fairly easily. Then we slowly make our way past the sleeping giant in the cave to make sure we don't wake him up, cause look man, I don't wanna fucking fight him, alright? Then Geralt has to negotiate with 3 rock trolls to let us pass, and they didn't want to because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, so please subscribe and leave a like so we can move on.
Troll, rock, throw. Witches say strike no back.
After this for some time nothing really happens except that we get drunk with the boys and we do some questionable stuff, but hey, what if their plan actually worked? Then Yen lifts the curse from Uma and now we're technically supposed to go to the Isle of Mist and get Ciri, but before I did that I went to do some more companion side quests because I want everybody here for the battle. We already did Letho, Kira and Hjalmar, so we need to do Roach and Zoltan. And seeing that our little dwarf friend has a gambling problem, let's start with him. We have to get some Gwent cards, so we chase some guys around the city and beat them up. It's not that deep of a quest. Don't ask why Geralt isn't wearing pants, I just found him like that, so I'm not gonna change it. Next up is the Roach quest, and these guys were actually tough. I died a few times, but after this, it was finally time to go to the Isle of Mist. And I fucking hated every second of it. Because between fighting the Fiend and dying from the Foglets, I also had to take care of this little prick, everybody's favorite dwarf, Gaspard. I don't need to tell you why he sucks, you already know that, but this time let's just say it was even worse. But then we finally get to Ciri, and there is something very special about Geralt walking in without pants, I don't know why. After that we go to Kaer Morhen, and after some short preparations, we are ready to begin the battle, in which I'm sure no Witcher of great value will die. But believe it or not, the battle wasn't actually that hard. Yes, there are a lot of Wild Hunt soldiers and hounds, but you don't actually have to fight all of them. When Geralt is outside the walls with Lambert and Letho, they're supposed to close the portals, and that is literally all you have to do, just close them. Yeah, the objective says to also kill the soldiers, but you don't have to. The only moment when you do have to fight the Wild Hunt is in the courtyard, and yes, there are a lot of them, but you also have a lot of allies, so I just rolled around and punched everything. Like most of this challenge, it wasn't hard, just took some time. Then you know what happens, Vesemir dies, Ciri starts screaming, and that is it for the battle. But what comes after this, I was actually kinda worried that I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm talking about the fight with Imlerith, because I feel that this is one of the more challenging fights in the game. There aren't that many of them, but this is one. And it kinda was. For starters, Geralt's light attack literally does 0 damage to him, so that forced me to only use heavy attacks that take more time and leave you exposed to hits. Luckily, I discovered that if you go to the left of Imlerith and dodge right before he attacks, you get a free hit. So I did that for the entirety of phase 1. Phase 2 was actually easier, cause he just swings his hammer around like an idiot, then he gets stuck in the ground and you get a free hit. And that's it for Imlerith. Next up we have to prepare for the big battle at the end, so we meet with Avalach and we travel between worlds. There's not much else to say, except that those alien desert bugs were annoying as hell. Then we steal some horses with Ciri and free the sorceresses from Oxenfurt and beat up half the prison in the process. Philippa was a bit more difficult because of the giant elemental, and no, of course I didn't kill Bart. I will judge you so hard if you do. Then we go to Skellige, and one of the stupidest quests in the game is when you go to Madman Lugos with Hermione and casually kill him and half his men, then walk out like nothing happened. We also fight another golem in Avalach's lab. What the fuck is with these guys and golems, man? But of course the main event is the fight with the Wild Hunt. And it wasn't that hard actually. Let's start with Caranthir. The hardest part about his fight, I thought it's gonna be the ice golems he spawns, but I discovered that if you place yourself right, when he does this ice shooting attack, he will kill his own golem, so after that it's a cakewalk. As for the fight with Eredin, to be honest with you, this was probably the fight that I was least worried about, and you wanna know why? Because it's fucking easy. This has been one of the problems that I've had with the game for a long time. It's gotta be one of the worst final bosses ever. Plus, Eredin is an idiot and has this attack that bombs you from the sky, but if you get really close to him, he will damage himself. But enjoy this moment where I finally complete the challenge. Thank you very much for being part of this journey. I'll have a playlist with all the videos if you want to watch them. Don't really know what the next video will be. Probably some Elden Ring DLC stuff, but we'll see. But I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.